Today, I'm going to show you how to paint rounded corners on your deck. Hi, I'm Ron.
And I'm Marie.
10 years ago, we bought a broken down trawler for $4,000.
And nothing worked, not even the kitchen sink.
After a lot of hard work and help from our friends and family, we moved aboard Elixir full time. And now we are cruising this old boat while the work and fun continues.
So subscribe and give us a like and come along with us, cruising this old boat.
When you're painting your deck, having rounded corners is always a better look. It gives it that professional touch to it. So you can see here the difference between a squared off corner and here's a rounded corner. And you can see how much nicer it looks. So it's really good to take the time, if you're gonna paint your deck, go ahead and round your corners out and make it look professional. There's basically two types of corners, inside and outside. But some of those corners can be 90-degree corners and others some other angle, either bigger or smaller. So what you wanna do is go ahead and put your tape down as much as possible where your white stripe is going to be. So the blue tape will be the white stripe. Now you can pick any thickness you want. The tape comes in different thicknesses. This one is something like 1.44 inches, so almost an inch and a half. But you can get wider or you can double it up. However thick you want your white stripe to be, that's up to you. So put down as much as you can. Now your outside corners, like this here is going to be an outside corner because this is the non-skid. So I denote everything by where the non-skid's going. So this will be an outside corner of the non-skid. These are the easy ones. You can just overlap because what you're going to end up doing is cutting this corner. Your inside corners though, which is this because the corner comes into the non-skid. So this is an inside corner. They're a little more difficult. And so you have to leave a gap here to make that curve. And how much of a gap? You know, it's kind of in that ballpark, and that's what you do, just ballpark it. We'll tweak that. We may have to add a little tape, may have to take a little tape off. We'll figure that out when we get to that point. So we're gonna do an outside corner first because it's the easy one, and we're gonna show you how to do that. So what you want to do is pick out a curved surface. It can be anything. Got a can, it could be a bottle top, it could be a door stopper, it could be a jar lid. What I found works best on our boat is the this fender hanger. But it doesn't matter what works on your boat, just find the radius or the curve that you're looking for on your boat. Find something that approximates that curve and use that. So the first thing you want to do is lay out a couple of pieces of painter's tape and just make sure they're overlapping. And that way they stick together when you go to use it as a template. Then you're going to take your object that you decided on for the curve you want and then draw around the curve. And then you're going to cut it out. Now, because this is going to be an outside corner, what we actually want is this piece here. And this would be garbage piece, although you can set it aside because we are going to have some inside corners. So this little piece is what you use for an inside corner, and this bigger area is what you use for an outside corner. So just lift it back up, make sure it stays taped together. And then cut along the line you just drew. And don't worry about being super accurate with your cut because the non-skid doesn't have a super defined line. When you look at it from a distance, it's going to look sharp and clean, but if you get up close, there's always going to be jagged edges between your non-skid and the white stripe. So it doesn't matter if you got little notches in here. Don't worry about being super accurate. Like I say, just set this aside because we're going to have some inside corners. And this now becomes our template for the outside corner. All right, so let's go outside and put this on our corner. So now that you have your template, what you want to do is place it down across the corner. And you want to line it up on your two edges is what you're looking for. Now sometimes it won't match up perfect, like right here. And so you're just going to have to manipulate it a little bit, pull it in. Get it to where you like the look of it. There, now we got a nice rounded corner. Now you see this is going to hang over where it's going to be in my way, so I'm going to tear that off. Over here, it doesn't matter, I'm not painting over here. And that's how you get a nice outside corner ready. So now we'll go ahead and do this one next, and you can see how it takes shape. All right, so we'll repeat the same thing with this corner. And again, we're going to cut off the excess here. And now you've got two nice rounded corners versus the square ones over here. And see how much nicer they look. So now that we've got the two outside corners done here, let's go ahead and do an inside corner so you can see how to do that. Okay, now remember, we cut off this little piece when we were making the template for the outside corner. So now we're going to use this little piece. So you kind of want to do the same thing. You're just going to come over here. You're going to line up this edge with your tape that's already down. And then you want this edge to line up with that tape, so we're going to need to move it. And you just got to play with it to get it to where it lines up with both edges. Sometimes you have to pivot it, sometimes you got to move it. Just whatever it takes to get those two edges to line up. And that should do it. Nope, I don't like that. It curves out here too much. We need to get it straighter. It's a little easier to do when you don't have a camera. in between you and what you're doing. All right, that looks better. So now we've got our curb, but we've got a gap here, and when I'm rolling the paint out, I may get paint in there. So you want to take some of your scrap you've been putting aside and cover that hole up. Yep. All right. Now, I don't know if you can see. I'll try to move the camera closer for you. All right. The actual piece I put comes up into here and ends up right there, which is a little bit of a ways from the edge. And it's sometimes hard to get them perfectly lined up, but remember what I said earlier, as you're rolling the non-skid out, it's never going to be a perfect line anyway. So as long as you're eyeball close, that's okay. So people looking at your deck aren't going to notice that. They're not going to notice that. It's just going to be a nice curve. So it doesn't matter that it didn't line up perfectly. All right. Now, a corner that can be a little more problematic is either an outside or an inside corner that has a large angle to it. Instead of being 90 degrees like the last two we did, this one is much wider. So we're going to try to span that. So it's the same concept, you just cut out the same template, but it's just a little trickier on getting it lined up to your curve. And what you may have to do is, I've lined this side up. And then I'm just going to tear this end off, and you see that gives me my rounded curve. So that's how you do your curves. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of them done, and then we'll roll it out and you can see what it looks like. And now you have very sharp, professional looking corners and a very nice looking deck. Thanks for watching.